I have this Mutazu VIP rear trunk on my bike. This is a 2014 Honda CTX 700, and I put this on about a year ago. And last fall, I noticed that the brake lights and the turn signal lights were not working. There were no lights working at all on this trunk. So over the winter here, I opened things up. I've cut these wires loose, but this is the little box that mounts over on the side here where the wires run through. And I hadn't opened that up previously when I installed all of this. But so anyway, over the winter, I opened up the box, and what I found inside, of course, these wires were hooked up, but this little relay was in the box. All by itself. Nothing was attached to it. There was no wires or anything. It was just laying loose in there. And then this, the circuit board that was in there, these three fine wires that are off the top, these three red ones that come off from these connection areas, none of those three were connected to anything. And actually this green one, this green thicker wire here, was not connected either. My assumption was that those wires had been connected to maybe to this relay, but I had no idea which wires connected where on the relay. So what I did was, when all this was installed, and I'm going to show you a little bit more here in a second, but when it was all installed, what I did was I cut the wires. This is the ribbon that goes up to the bar light on the spoiler here, and then there was a wire coming off the right turn signal, these two wires, and then these two wires come from the left turn signal. And this is the wiring that I brought up from the bike for the turn signals, the brake light, and then the ground. So those were all, this was all wired together. I made another video when I installed it. I just haven't got around to editing it yet. But it showed how I made all those connections. The wiring is under this panel here on this particular bike anyway. But anyway, so what I thought I could do, I just thought, well, I'm just gonna cut the wires, and I'm just gonna direct wire them to these, to the brake lights and turn signals on the motorcycle. I tried doing that. I made those connections. I don't know much about LED lights. These are all LEDs, but apparently, as you can see on the circuit board, on the back side, there's a number of resistors, and I'm not sure what some of those other components are, but apparently 12 volts is way too much power for these LEDs. I hopefully didn't burn them out. Actually, the strip light, I was getting some lighting off of the spoiler lights, but the other ones, the turn signals and so forth, I couldn't get those to work when I direct wired them. So I ended up calling Mutazu, if I'm saying that right, and I asked them. I told them I was having problems, and they directed me on their website. If you go to their website or call their customer service, you can order a complete wiring kit to replace this current kit. Unfortunately, and it says right in there, they don't include any instructions at all. So I'm gonna have to figure out, it looks like there's a couple of screws here that maybe hold this rear one in place. Otherwise, everything looks like it's glued. It looks to me like that's the only access for the two turn signal areas. And this here, I'm guessing, here's some screws on this spoiler. So it'll be a matter of trying to figure out, trying to snake these wires to where they need to go and so forth. But so I ordered the kit, and here it is. It comes with another mounting box, left turn signal, right turn signal, and here's the strip light for the spoiler. And here's the circuit board. And what I was hoping to figure out was, well, I was just going to install the kit, and then I thought, well, maybe I can repair the old one. So this is that relay that I found laying loose. I see what they've done now is they've taped, after it's been connected, they've used electrical tape to kind of tape and secure that to probably keep it from coming apart like my other one did. So what I did is I used this to just figure out what connected to what, because like I said on the other one, these 3 wires were not connected to anything. They were just laying loose, and then the green wire was not connected either, and the relay was just laying in the box. So what I did, I took this off to figure out which of these red wires connected into which terminals on the relay. There's 6 terminals, but only 4 of these wires are being connected. So another thing I noticed is these wires that came on the new replacement are quite a bit thicker gauge than what are on that other, the original one. So maybe they figured out that those wires just weren't holding up or something, and they've replaced them with a thicker gauge wire. So anyway, I could replace this whole thing, but what I'm gonna try to do, just see if it works, is to repair the other one, just reconnect all the wires to the terminal or to the relay, and see if that takes care of the problem. Then I'll have to reconnect the wires. One thing I found helpful, I had this little pencil soldering iron that I used, and after watching a couple, because I've never done any soldering, I borrowed this from a friend and watched a few YouTube videos on how to solder, and then I did make a couple connections already, and I'll just show you that. When I found the relay laying in the box, it didn't have these wires attached to it. I attached these wires just because I'm gonna have to make these connections to this circuit board with these wires. And I just thought trying to use those short little red wires and the green one and make the connection was gonna be really difficult to work with such short pieces of wire and get them. I don't know if you can see, I'm gonna try and show you. These have little, they're just hair thin little terminals coming off of here that you have to solder to. So they number one, they don't look like they'd be very strong, but anyway, so there's one terminal, you can see there's 4 on one side, and then there's 2 on the other. So if you orient this the right way, I'm not saying there is a right way, but just so you can see that the 2 terminals, the green is connected to the bottom terminal on the 2 sides, and then the 4 are on the other. And on the other side, the 2 top ones and the one closest to the green are being. Let's see if I can get focused in better. Anyway, those were that's the hookup. So if you orient if you're having this same issue, you orient that relay box like that, then you could hopefully make your reconnections and so forth. But I just put on these pigtail wires to give me a little extra wire to work with so that I can reconnect them here to the circuit board. And then all those wires that I cut, I'm gonna have to reconnect. And you can see there's a little connector on the bottom that unplugs. It's mostly unplugged right now. But so all these little wires that were on these ribbon wires or whatever you want to call them, those will all have to be reconnected back to the original wires that came off the turn signals and off the spoiler light. All of these wires have some kind of have some markings on them. Some have just an X, some have dashes, some have long dashes. I think like that one over there has a medium-sized length dash with an X in between the dashes. So I made a diagram before I cut all these, just in case I wasn't, gonna have trouble getting things lined up back again the way they were. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna reconnect these yet. I might solder them together, since that soldering, when I did it on this relay thing, it went pretty well. You got to be, have some little helping hand clips to hold things in place so you can do it, and you got to be careful, of course, so you don't cross connect these little terminals that come off of there. But anyway, I'm going to hook it back up, and hopefully everything works. If it doesn't, I'll just take it out, and I will put the new hookups in, and hopefully that takes care of it. So hopefully this helps somebody else that maybe has the same issue. They must have some issues with this arrangement because they sell that replacement thing. It's $39 on their website, or it was when I ordered it, and that they didn't charge any tax or anything. So for 39 bucks, you can replace your lights on these Mutazu, or however you pronounce it, trunks. And hopefully that helps somebody. If you know anyone who has lake property and they deal with a problem with weeds, check out the T-Weeder, tweedertool.com. It's something I invented years ago, and if you know somebody that deals with aquatic weeds and needs a solution, give it a try. So thanks for watching, and subscribe if you would, and like this video. Thank you.